What if I told you that one of the richest financial mindsets in the world doesn't come from Wall Street, but from simple habits practiced quietly in homes across Japan? While most people chase more income, bigger investments, and faster returns, the Japanese focus on something far more powerful: discipline, intention, and long-term thinking. And that difference changes everything. Today I'm going to walk you through the Japanese way to save money, step by step. Not theory, not hype. Practical principles that have helped generations build stability, security, and wealth without stress. If you're tired of feeling like money slips through your fingers, stay with me. Because by the end of this talk, you won't just think differently about saving, you'll operate differently. Let me start with a simple truth. Saving money is not about how much you earn. It's about how you think. Japan is home to one of the most disciplined saving cultures in the world. Even in times of economic pressure, households maintain strong saving habits. And it's not because they have secret investment tricks. It's because they follow structured, intentional systems. Today, I'll break down those systems into clear, actionable steps you can apply immediately, whether you're earning a modest income or running a business. This is not about extreme frugality. It's about control. It's about clarity. And most importantly, it's about building quiet wealth that lasts. Let's begin. Paying yourself first is not just a budgeting tactic. It is a declaration of control. Most people treat saving as whatever is left over after expenses. The problem is there is rarely anything left over. Bills expand, lifestyle creeps in, small daily purchases quietly stack up, and saving becomes optional. When something is optional, it usually gets postponed. And when it gets postponed long enough, financial stress becomes normal. The Japanese approach flips that pattern completely. Savings come first. Not emotionally, systematically. The moment income arrives, a predetermined portion moves out of reach and into savings. It is treated the same way as rent or utilities, something that must be paid. This single shift changes your financial identity. You stop being someone who hopes to save and become someone who always saves. The power here is automation and discipline. When the transfer happens immediately, before you even see the full balance, you remove temptation. There is no debate, no internal negotiation. No, I'll save next month. The decision was already made when you committed to the percentage. This removes emotional interference from your finances. Think about it practically. If you earn $1,000 and immediately move $200 into savings, you adapt your lifestyle to $800. But if you start with $1,000 and try to save whatever remains at the end, your spending naturally adjusts upward. Humans adapt quickly to available resources. By limiting what is available for spending, you create structure. Structure creates stability. There is also a psychological shift that happens. When you pay yourself first, you send a message to your mind that your future matters. You are no longer working only for today's consumption. You are building protection, options, and freedom. That sense of progress builds confidence. And confidence changes behavior. Over time, this habit compounds beyond the numbers. At first, the saved amount may feel small, but consistency builds momentum. Each month reinforces the identity of being disciplined. Each deposit becomes proof that you are serious about financial growth. Eventually, saving stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like strength. Another important element is predictability. When a fixed percentage is saved automatically, your finances become more organized. You know exactly what portion of your income belongs to the future. This clarity reduces anxiety. Financial stress often comes from uncertainty. A system removes that uncertainty. In Japanese households, this mindset has been passed down for generations. Children grow up watching savings treated as a priority, not as an afterthought. That cultural reinforcement builds long-term stability. It is not about earning extraordinary income. It is about extraordinary consistency. The beauty of paying yourself first is that it works at any income level. The percentage can grow as income grows, but the principle remains unchanged. Income increases, savings increase first. Lifestyle adjusts second. That order is critical. When you master this habit, you stop relying on motivation. You rely on structure. And structure always outperforms motivation. Over years, this simple act creates capital. Capital creates options. Options create freedom. And freedom is the ultimate return on saving. The real power of the Japanese saving philosophy becomes clear when you understand one simple practice: intentional tracking. The Kakeibo method is not just about recording numbers. It is about creating awareness, And awareness changes behavior faster than restriction ever will. Most people avoid looking closely at their spending because it feels uncomfortable. Small purchases seem harmless in isolation. A coffee here, an online order there, a subscription you barely use. None of them feel significant on their own. But when you put them all together on paper, the picture becomes very clear. Money is not disappearing. It is being directed unconsciously. The brilliance of Kakeibo is that it forces you to slow down and confront your choices. Traditionally, it involves writing down your income, setting a savings goal, and categorizing every expense. The physical act of writing is important. It creates engagement. When you manually record where your money goes, you feel the transaction again. You connect with it. That connection builds mindfulness. But what truly makes this method powerful are the reflective questions behind it. Before spending, you pause and ask yourself whether the purchase is necessary, whether you can truly afford it, and whether it will improve your life. That pause is where financial discipline is born. Most wasteful spending happens in moments of impulse. Kakeibo inserts intention between impulse and action. There is also something deeply psychological happening here. When you track your expenses regularly, you remove mystery from your finances. Fear often grows in uncertainty. When you do not know where your money goes, you assume the worst. But when you see the numbers clearly, you gain control. Even if the picture is not perfect at first, clarity allows correction. Another strength of this system is categorization. Expenses are usually divided into needs, culture or self-development, and unexpected costs. This breakdown helps you see patterns. Maybe you believe you only spend a little on entertainment, but the category tells a different story. Maybe your unexpected expenses are frequent because you are not planning ahead. Patterns reveal weaknesses. And once weaknesses are visible, they can be improved. Over time, this practice builds a stronger relationship with money. Instead of reacting emotionally, you begin to make deliberate decisions. You start noticing triggers that lead to unnecessary purchases. Stress, boredom, social pressure. When you identify these triggers, you reduce their influence. The method is not about extreme restriction. It is about alignment. You are not cutting everything that brings joy. You are eliminating what does not truly serve you. That distinction is important. Sustainable saving requires balance. If saving feels like punishment, it will not last. If it feels like clarity, it becomes empowering. What makes this approach effective across generations in Japan is its simplicity. No complicated software. No advanced financial knowledge required. Just honesty, consistency, and reflection. It turns money management from a passive activity into an active practice. When you consistently track and reflect, your spending becomes intentional. Intentional spending leads to controlled saving. Controlled saving builds stability. And stability builds long-term wealth. Intentional spending is where discipline meets clarity. Many people believe saving money requires constant sacrifice, cutting out everything enjoyable and living in restriction. That mindset rarely lasts. The Japanese approach is different. It is not about removing joy from your life. It is about making sure every dollar you spend aligns with your values and priorities. Most financial problems are not caused by low income alone. They are caused by unconscious spending. Money flows toward convenience, impulse, comparison, and emotion. You buy something because it is easy, because it is on sale, because someone else has it, or because you had a long day and feel you deserve it. None of these decisions are strategic. They are reactions. Intentional spending interrupts that pattern. Before you spend, you ask a deeper question. Does this purchase truly add value to my life? Value is personal. For one person, that might be education. For another, travel. For someone else, health or family experiences. The point is not to eliminate spending. The point is to spend with purpose. When you begin to operate this way, something powerful happens. You stop chasing temporary satisfaction and start choosing lasting impact. Instead of upgrading your phone because it is trending, you might invest in learning a new skill. Instead of buying multiple low-quality items, you might purchase one high-quality product that lasts years. This shift reduces waste and increases fulfillment. There is also a strong cultural element behind this philosophy. In Japan, simplicity and moderation are deeply respected. There is an appreciation for quality over quantity. This mindset naturally supports intentional spending. It encourages thoughtful consumption rather than excess. When you embrace this perspective, your financial life becomes lighter. You own less, but what you own matters more. Intentional spending also protects you from social pressure. Many financial mistakes are driven by comparison. You see someone's car, vacation, lifestyle, and feel an urge to match it. But when you are clear about your priorities, comparison loses its influence. You understand that someone else's spending choices are not your responsibility. Your path is different. Another benefit is emotional stability. Impulse purchases often come with regret. You feel excitement in the moment, then doubt afterward. Intentional spending reduces that cycle. When you decide deliberately, you stand by your choice. There is confidence behind it. That confidence builds trust in yourself. Over time, this practice strengthens your overall financial system. Your expenses become lean but meaningful. Waste decreases naturally without forcing extreme rules. Savings increase because unnecessary leaks are closed. And perhaps most importantly, you feel more in control. Intentional spending is not about being cheap. It is about being selective. It is about directing your money toward what genuinely improves your life and cutting what does not. That difference changes everything. When every purchase has purpose, your finances stop controlling you. You start controlling them. And that control is where lasting financial strength begins. Before you think about growing your money, you have to protect it. One of the strongest foundations of the Japanese saving philosophy is stability first. That means building an emergency cushion before chasing investments, upgrades, or lifestyle improvements. It sounds simple, but most people skip this step. They want returns before they build resilience. Life is unpredictable. A medical bill, a job interruption, a family emergency, a sudden repair. These events are not rare. They are normal. The problem is not that emergencies happen. The problem is being financially unprepared when they do. Without a cushion, even a small disruption can push you into debt. And once debt begins, progress slows down. An emergency fund acts as a shock absorber. It protects your long-term goals from short-term problems. Instead of using credit cards or loans, you use money you have already set aside. That one decision can save you months or even years of financial recovery. There is also a powerful psychological benefit to having a cushion. Financial stress often comes from uncertainty. When you live paycheck to paycheck, every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. Anxiety increases. Decisions become rushed. You may accept unfavorable terms or make emotional financial choices simply to survive the moment. But when you have reserves, your mindset changes. You think clearly. You negotiate better. You make rational decisions instead of desperate ones. Confidence replaces fear. That confidence improves every other area of your financial life. In Japan, stability is valued over speed. The focus is not on getting rich quickly. It is on creating a base strong enough to withstand difficulty. This long-term thinking reduces risk. It creates durability. Wealth that survives hardship is more powerful than wealth built on fragile foundations. Building an emergency cushion also reinforces discipline. It requires consistency. It requires patience. You are saving money that you hope not to use. That can feel unexciting compared to investing or spending. But this quiet preparation is what separates fragile finances from strong ones. The size of the cushion matters less than the commitment to building it. The goal is to cover essential living expenses for a period of time so that you are not forced into panic decisions. Once that base is established, you can pursue investments and growth with confidence. You are no longer building on unstable ground. Another important element is separation. Emergency savings should be accessible but not mixed with everyday spending. When it is clearly defined as protection money, you respect it differently. It becomes a boundary between stability and chaos. Over time, this habit strengthens your entire financial structure. You take calculated risks instead of reckless ones. You invest from a position of security. You make career moves with less fear. Stability creates freedom. An emergency cushion may not feel exciting, but it is powerful. It is quiet strength sitting in the background, ready to protect you when life shifts unexpectedly. And that protection is one of the smartest financial decisions you can ever make. Long-term consistency is where real wealth is built, not in dramatic moves, not in sudden windfalls, but in small, disciplined actions repeated over years. This is one of the strongest pillars behind the Japanese approach to saving money. The focus is not on intensity, it is on endurance. Most people approach money with short bursts of motivation. They get inspired, save aggressively for a month or two, then lose focus. Expenses creep back in, old habits return. The cycle repeats. The problem is not lack of intelligence, it is lack of consistency. Financial growth does not respond well to emotional swings. Consistency removes emotion from the equation. When you commit to saving a fixed amount regularly regardless of mood or market conditions, you build momentum. That momentum compounds. Even small contributions grow when they are uninterrupted. Time does most of the heavy lifting, but only if you stay steady. There is a deep cultural respect in Japan for patience and gradual improvement. Progress is measured over years, not weeks. This mindset applies naturally to money. Instead of chasing quick profits or reacting to every financial trend, the focus remains on steady accumulation. That patience reduces costly mistakes. It prevents panic during downturns and overconfidence during upswings. Consistency also strengthens your financial identity. When you save regularly, month after month, you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to improve financially. You become someone who is financially disciplined. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes results. Over time, the habit becomes automatic. Another important aspect of long-term thinking is understanding the power of compounding. Money saved today has more time to grow than money saved tomorrow. The earlier you begin, the less pressure you feel later. Even modest amounts, when invested wisely and left untouched, can multiply significantly. But compounding only works when you allow time to do its job. This principle also protects you from chasing unrealistic expectations. Many people lose money because they want rapid growth. They jump into risky opportunities without understanding them. They react to headlines. They follow hype. Consistency keeps you grounded. It reminds you that steady progress is more reliable than sudden gains. There is also emotional stability that comes from long-term discipline. When markets fluctuate or income changes, you are less shaken. Your system remains in place. You continue saving. You continue building. This steadiness reduces stress and improves decision-making. Over years, the impact becomes undeniable. What once felt like small monthly contributions turns into substantial capital. That capital creates flexibility. It opens doors to investments, business opportunities, or financial independence. None of it happened overnight. It happened because you refused to stop. Long-term consistency is not glamorous. It does not attract attention. But it builds something far more valuable than excitement. It builds certainty. And in personal finance, certainty is power. Living below social pressure is one of the most underrated financial advantages you can develop. In many societies, spending is not just about need or enjoyment. It is about image. People upgrade their cars, homes, clothes, and gadgets not because they require them, but because they want to signal success. The problem is that visible wealth and actual wealth are often very different things. The Japanese approach values quiet stability over outward display. There is less emphasis on showing status and more focus on maintaining balance. This mindset protects financial growth in a powerful way. When you stop trying to impress others, you free your income to work for you instead of working for appearances. Social pressure is subtle but constant. A colleague buys a luxury car. A friend moves into a larger house. Social media highlights vacations, designer brands, and curated lifestyles. Without awareness, comparison becomes automatic. You start measuring your progress against someone else's choices. That comparison can quietly push you toward unnecessary spending. But here is the reality. You rarely see the full financial picture behind someone's lifestyle. You see the highlight, not the debt. You see the upgrade, not the stress. When you detach from comparison, you regain control. Your financial decisions become aligned with your goals, not someone else's image. Living below social pressure does not mean isolating yourself or rejecting comfort. It means being intentional about what truly matters to you. If a purchase aligns with your priorities and you can afford it responsibly, there is nothing wrong with it. The issue arises when spending is driven by ego rather than purpose. There is strength in quiet growth. When your savings increase, when your investments grow, when your emergency fund expands, none of it needs public validation. In fact, the most financially secure individuals often live far more modestly than expected. Their confidence comes from stability, not display. This mindset also reduces lifestyle inflation. As income increases, the natural tendency is to upgrade everything immediately. Better apartment, better car, more expensive habits. But if every raise leads to higher expenses, wealth never accumulates. By resisting the urge to inflate your lifestyle with every increase in income, you create space for accelerated saving and investing. Another benefit is peace of mind. When your financial decisions are not influenced by external approval, you experience less stress. You are not chasing validation, you are building security. That internal focus leads to smarter choices and fewer regrets. Over time, this discipline creates a gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is where wealth is built. It is not flashy. It does not attract attention, but it grows steadily in the background. True financial strength is quiet. It does not need applause. When you live below social pressure, you stop performing for others and start preparing for your future. And that shift is one of the most powerful financial decisions you can make. As we close, I want you to understand something clearly. Wealth is not built through intensity. It is built through discipline. The Japanese way to save money is not complicated. It is structured. It is intentional. And most importantly, it is sustainable. You pay yourself first so your future is never neglected. You track your money so it never disappears without your awareness. You spend with intention so every dollar serves a purpose. You build a cushion so life cannot knock you off course. You stay consistent so time works in your favor. And you rise above social pressure so your finances are guided by logic, not ego. None of these steps require a high income. They require clarity and commitment. If you apply these principles patiently, your financial life will begin to change, not overnight, but steadily, quietly, powerfully. And one day, you will look back and realize that while others were chasing status, you were building stability. While others were reacting emotionally, you were operating strategically. That is the difference between hoping to be wealthy and preparing to be wealthy. The choice, starting today, is yours.